This semester begins with both excitement and nervousness as 36,321 Iowa State students roam around campus trying to find their classes and finding perfect places to study. Added to this, students could be seen waiting in huge lines to purchase the required books for their classes or to pick up the textbooks that they pre-ordered from the university.
I would guess probably $800 to $1,000 on the year.
I paid approximately $85.
It was a total of, I believe it was like $96.
Iowa State estimates undergraduate students will spend more than $500 on textbooks and supplies each semester in the 2018-2019 academic year.
The most expensive book I bought was through the university bookstore for my Comp Sci 113 class, which is an introduction to spreadsheets and databases. That book was used and it was still $60.
If I paid full price for it, it was about $350.
Okay. And then what did you end up paying for it?
About $100. I bought the UK version of it.
The most expensive textbook at the Iowa State University bookstore is Solid State Physics for $347, and the least expensive textbook is The Narrative Life of Frederick Douglass for $7. At these prices, students call into question the affordability of textbooks.
Our bookstore is owned and operated by Iowa State University, so we're not a private company or anything. We don't receive funding from the state or from the university, so we're self-sufficient. So my job is to manage the everyday course materials initiatives. So affordability is something that's important to me. I was on my own to pay for college, came to Iowa State knowing it was a public school that was supposed to be affordable with tuition and everything, and I still left with a significant amount of student debt. So my own personal story is I don't want students to have to carry that much debt like I have had to do as a student.
Heather Dean is a 3-time winner of the Excellence in Course Materials Management Award from the Independent College Bookstore Association for her efforts in textbook affordability at Iowa State.
Some things that we've done just in my tenure, we've been able to get students to charge their textbooks to their university bill. And so making it more inclusive and accessible to get your materials was important to me. So we were able to get that passed back in 2012, I think is when that happened, maybe even sooner than that. And then from there, just really working with the industry, the publishers, and the vendors to get the prices of books down. So things like textbook rental, that came about in about 2009. So when textbook rental became a thing, and we try to champion these initiatives as soon as they become available to us. We take them and run with them right here at Iowa State and set an example for the rest of the country to follow suit.
The use that students get from their textbooks varies from class to class.
There's only been one class in my 5 years that I've actually read the entire textbook, and otherwise I might read the first couple chapters, that's about it.
I only bought it because our professor made us get the book to do homework out of, so I use it when homework's assigned. That's about it.
I would say that for this semester especially, I've used both of my textbooks and it's been very helpful.
We work directly with the faculty to get the course material orders. So the faculty are the ones who make the decisions on what's required and what's recommended. So we kind of have to work with both parties there, both students and faculty.
When asked about the value of textbooks, students have more questions than answers.
I think that as students we feel like it should be lower. I don't know economically if that's actually feasible. You know, the university's got to make a little bit of money to cover for that shipping, but is it that the publishers are charging a lot more than what it's actually costing them to publish that book?
With the exception of business law, no, they are not worth it at all. I think the biggest thing they need to figure out first is if the textbook's really needed. I feel there's some classes where they're like, here's the textbook you need, and you have to have it, and then almost nobody actually uses it.
I would say to an extent, yes. It depends on the books, usually. I don't know if any book is worth $200, you know.
The bookstore, the publisher, and the faculty working together and partnering to make sure the materials are actually being used. That was a big pain point for me as a student, and I still see it today as a pain point of I had to buy this book and we never even opened it.
Along with affordability, students are concerned with the value that they are getting out of their textbooks.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much the course material costs. because value is perceived so many different ways. If it's actually being used and it's required mandatory, maybe that's a better word than required, for the class, you're going to see higher usage. That's no different in the print world either. If they're assigning grade, you have to do this reading and then you have to write a report, or somehow the reading is grade driven, you're going to see students buying the book. They're going to make sure they can acquire the book one way or another. It's when there's no perceived value that it becomes an issue. And so even if the book's only $10, if they're not using it, there's still no value. And so I think it just hurts less because it's like, well, I guess it was $10, right? Now, how many books are $10? Not very many. So we might look at it and go, oh, it was only $100. I mean, who says that? Textbooks are a need, not a want.
Students have the option to sell their textbooks back to the university at the end of the year, but some students have found that this is not always the best option.
I sold one back the past fall semester. I paid $80 for the textbook and I got $10 back.
I keep mine. I end up doing one of three things with it. I either donate it to the members of my fraternity that are in the same major, give it to friends, family that are coming here and have similar classes that require that book, and then some of them I just hang on to because I might need in the future.
I kept the books because I was told by other professors that these were books that were more of you'd want to have in like your future career, just like at least have on the shelf.
For students who cannot afford full-price textbooks, there are other resources being created and provided so that students can still have access to the necessary materials. One of these programs is Inclusive Access.
Inclusive Access, which is a digital program where students get the digital book and we negotiate with the publisher. So 100% of the class receives the material. It's charged automatically to your U-bill and you just have it. You just log into your Canvas account, it's just there. And then you receive a charge on your U-bill, but it's significantly less than what the print book would have been.
Another resource that schools are looking at is open educational resources through the library.
And really, as open educational resources has really entered the course material world in making sure that we've got credible materials, but at no cost, or even sometimes low cost. We're working together on that because we want to make sure it's in the student book list so students are aware that here's what you need for class and it doesn't cost you anything. But on the flip side, making sure we have print books available for students that still prefer print. And there will always be a charge for a print book just due to manufacturing. So we can supply the print book. The library is really supplying that digital open educational resource.
As students progress through their college years, ability to purchase textbooks has a large impact on the success of these students. In turn, affordability and value are critical in the development of course materials.